Hi engineering aspirants. Now we'll be looking at different engineering branches. So before we move to different engineering branches, it's very convenient for us to look at evolutions in the engineering domain which have happened over the time, so that we can connect them and understand these engineering branches. I think that will be a fair way to know these things, right? So if you look at the before 1700 era, which was more of manual work for most of our requirement. So for example, we used to use manual labor. So in our Indian tradition, we had a bisukalu, which in Kannada we call it bisukalu. So, or in stone grinder, we can call it in English. I'm not. You need to Google it and find out what it is, right? So it is to use manual human power to convert, grain into a floor. Now similarly, you had the transportation sector, which was like using bullock carts or horses for moving from place A to place B, right? So this was all manual in nature. Now after this 1700, then some amount of power utilization by external possibilities came into existence. For example, if you look at the one that is shown in this picture, if you look at this, so instead of manually moving with the hand, so there is some kind of in the second image you can see now that the water moves the wheel. Okay, now this wheel internally, when it goes, okay, now we'll see this inside. Now inside this wheel is going to drive the bigger wheels with some mechanisms, and thereby the whole process will happen. The only thing is human efforts are moved to some mechanized effort through water, or even you can look at the next option is through steam. If you look at the example of olden railways, which was the one of the only option of a big transportation within the land. So it was railways which was running on steam engines. Now these steam engines which worked at that point of time, okay, if you look at design perspective, like how these were made, okay, so these all these mechanisms that I was talking about, now these comes under mechanical domain, right? So the big chunk of the engineering that was required at that point of time was mechanical engineering. Now along with that, there were cities planned, okay, so to have a better place for all the people. So cities, work of the building of these cities were given in the hands of civil engineers. So these were the two major branches that evolved with time in the early stage. Now when we look at these aspects, so mechanical and civil were the foundation branches, okay. But as soon as we proceeded further, if you look at train, so now train, if you look at manufacturing of train in huge quantity or volume, so it demanded industries to be set up, okay, and these industries to be using the production lines and other aspects. So hence we needed industrial production also in the domain, right? So industrial production was another aspect. Now if you look at the other aspect from the perspective of mobility, so it was automobile engineering that also came into existence along with these improvements. So if you look at overall, what happened in this era, like we saw a lot of mechanization, then use of water power, then steam power, then railways, and all these were mainly used for particular domain of industries, that was textile industries, because at that time, if you look at history of India, so mainly the Indian textiles manufacturers were put heavy taxes, so that the cost of production would go high and it will become difficult for buyers to buy this. Instead, these were manufactured in UK and then they were brought back to India and sold here. So basically the cotton raw material was taken from India and moved to UK, and then textile industries flourished in UK, and then they put the finished product back into the market, and they forced people to buy by having the cost impairment in the form of taxes. Okay, that's what mainly businesses, people of British era did to us. Now this is the whole gist of it. In this aspect, you can also look at textile engineering as one of the domain. Yes, this textile engineering came into existence a bit late, because at that time mainly these textile industries worked on mechanical power. Now current textile industry itself can require a set of requirements, so we have even textile engineering, right? But at very few places, right? So now with this information, I think we will try to discuss more about other engineering branches in the next part of the video. Thank you. If you like this video, kindly click the like button below. Subscribe to this channel for updates on this and similar topic, and share the video with your family and friends. Kindly suggest the topic of your interest to be covered in the next videos, and also your point of view about this video in the comment section below.